Welcome back, everybody. I'm Chris Wilson with Modified Independence. This is 7 Minutes for Seniors. This is our second segment with my friend Mark Moss from the law offices of Mark F. Moss. Um, I know that I refer to you as much as I can. The problem with being medically licensed is that I have to provide my patients with choice.
So
So
it's a problem or a good thing?
well, yeah, I mean, so obviously we do this to try to get you folks in front of the people, but at the same time, we very highly stress the need for estate planning. I think I was telling you I had a gentleman in a neighborhood that did very well for himself, and he told me when I asked him, because I usually ask questions about that, he said I have a handwritten will, and we rewrote it when we moved to this state, and I just shook my head, and I felt very bad for him because he worked his whole life to be very successful, and if something happened to him and his wife, the state of Florida was probably going to determine what happened, all that stuff. So,
Yeah, the work he did in researching and trying to write that,
yeah,
Florida is not one of the states that allows a handwritten
yeah.
will.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
I mean, so leading into that, this is our second segment. So how exactly do you help seniors? Like, what are you trying to prevent? Who are you looking out for?
Right. So there's a lot of what we do is the peace of mind that overall, I know something's going to happen. I don't know when,
Right,
whether it's death, incapacity, something in between, something's going to happen.
right,
The question is when. Okay, well, if we know it's going to happen, that's step one is acceptance. Step two is how do we plan?
hmm,
If something happens or when it happens, who do you want serving in what role? So making sure that first and foremost, they've got peace of mind. Second, what we are seeing more and more of, and it's a shame, is that elder abuse, elder exploitation,
hmm,
whether it's a family member, a caretaker, a stranger off the street that is there to help
hmm,
and now starts taking advantage of them.
yeah,
And for lack of better terms, swindling and siphoning their assets. And
swindlers.
yeah, and just they come in and just change everything. And you have this, and there's case law on this, and I don't want to get too into it,
Right,
but keep it at a high level. There's case law, there's things out there that people will do that we need to get ahead of and get in front of.
hmm,
And that's what a lot of our planning does, either with the life planning and then we're beginning kind of the elder law and some of the potential litigation relating to both, either when someone is living or when they've passed away, goes back to that
yeah,
and making sure, do they have the right capacity? Were they coerced? Was there undue influence? Basically, it comes down to, did they know what they were doing and was it a voluntary decision,
yeah.
or were they told and forced to go do something?
That's got to be frustrating.
It's very frustrating, and
Yeah,
I'm almost numb to it.
yeah,
And I know that sounds terrible, but you see something so many times. The first time you see it, and you're like, "This is terrible,"
yeah,
and then you see it more and more, and it's like it's more common than you think.
yeah,
But a lot of times, people don't know what rights they have and how to prevent it and how to stop it. So
yeah,
things like this, speaking events, going places, and really just educating people that it shouldn't happen.
yeah,
It does, but it shouldn't. And here's what we should do to stop it and prevent it.
yeah.
Getting ahead of it is crucial because
Absolutely.
it's happening more and more, and it's not pleasant to be on any side of
Yeah. No, I've learned my lesson doing panels with you that you are not allowed to say the word ladybird deed until the end of the program because it literally just overpowers
that.
everything else.
There's, as soon as you hear it, it's almost like talking about a certain type of trust.
Yeah.
The whole conversation shifts.
Yeah.
Everything focuses on that, and now anything else, everyone is just laser focused.
Yeah.
You've got your blinders on.
Yeah. I actually had a
But those
lady.
are great.
I had
Lady
a
birdies
lady.
are great.
Oh yeah. And so I had a lady contact me the other day. We'll talk about it. Doing a panel discussion with a big, very accessible group of people.
Okay.
And she goes, "So who are you thinking about bringing with you?" I was like, "Well, I'm probably going to bring my friend Mark." I said, "But I'm going to tell you right now that there are 3 words that he's not allowed to say until we're at least halfway through the program, because we won't get to talk to the senior care providers, the in-home, handyman or me or anything like
Everything
that."
goes
Yeah, yeah. It's
straight to
amazing
it.
how people are more interested in what happens to their house than they are almost what happens to their life,
Correct.
right?
When it's their house is their life. Their house is their
Right.
everything. It's almost, when you work with someone that's a business owner as well,
Yeah.
they may come to terms and say, I'm going to die and we need to figure out what happens to my personal stuff.
Right.
But they will refuse to address any potential planning for their business because that's going to live forever.
Right.
It may,
Right.
and it could, if you set it up to do that.
Right.
But if you bury your head in the sand, it won't happen.
It won't happen. And it'll die the day that you die.
Correct. So
Yeah.
again, it's making sure you've got everything in place.
Yeah.
Keeping at these panels, keeping everyone focused. We'll get there.
Yeah.
But we're not going to go right there.
Right. Yeah. The one thing that's always frustrated me is that we, in this day and age of technology, we have that yellow carbon copy paper that tells people whether I'm a DNR or not, and it's supposed to be magnetized to
On
my
the fridge,
refrigerator
yep.
because that's where everybody goes to. But I think I've told this story before. I had a patient who fell going out to get his mail, and he was a DNR. And somebody drove by, saw him laying in the yard. They called 911. They didn't go in the house looking for the thing, and
No one would
and it really should be connected to your, to who you are, or your address, or something like that, so it's easier
Correct.
to find.
The yellow paper, and that's why even when we plan for clients, we, in a living will, clients often mention, is this a DNR? No.
Right.
It's similar. There's some similar characteristics. It's, a vegetative state. It's a terminal
Right.
condition. Basically, do you want to pull the plug or not?
Yeah.
But it's not a DNR. That's got to be on a certain color paper. It's that yellow paper. There's nothing we can do different
It's
about
crazy.
it. And there's no way really that I'm aware of at least now, to digitize it.
Yeah.
And have it accessible somewhere else.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that definitely is part of the law. I think that should be changed, but it's a weird nuance.
Yeah. Yeah. We're still living it. It's like we need to chisel it into the
Correct.
driveway.
Attach it to the fridge. Right, exactly.
Tattoo it on the side of their arm.
Bingo.
We're going to run a little bit long here, but I like to get to the other question. Tell me, who is your ideal client?
I struggle with this one because there's really ideal 18 and up. Yeah. Everyone needs it. I have clients 18. I have clients that 90s and up.
Yeah.
Everyone needs it. 18-year-olds people don't really think about, but once you turn 18, you're an adult. Mm-hmm. You go off to school, something happens, parents aren't there. They can't, hospitals, no one will share anything with them because you're an adult.
Right.
But you still need them. How many 18-year-olds know how to make a doctor's appointment, know how to do anything?
Yeah.
Parents have always done it.
Yeah.
So they need that. Blended families. We plan for minor children as well. Technically, they're not our clients. Their parents are, but everyone needs planning. Everyone needs what we do. They may not realize it, but everyone needs it. And then kind of what form or substance are their intellectual developmental disabilities, capacity concerns? What do we need to plan for and try to get ahead of? Yeah. That's going to be some of the variations. But I struggle with who's an ideal client because everyone needs it. Yeah. And the statistics, if I can say the word, statistics show majority of the population doesn't even have it. Right. But 100% of us are going to die. We're all going to die. Right. I don't think anyone has been able to avoid that. No. At least not that I'm aware of. But maybe somewhere, somehow, they're out there in a glass jar or frozen chamber somewhere. But we're all going to die. Yeah. Why don't we do this? Yeah. Because it's a tough conversation to have. I think it makes us face our mortality, a little bit. And you don't want to think that, I don't know. I think maybe it's kind of like if you get that negative thought in your head, like I'm a golfer, right? So if I get that negative thought in my head before my swing, then I'm going to have that bad swing. That's true. I've had some clients, as soon as I leave here, I'm going to go get hit by a bus. Yeah. I mean, knock on wood. Well, at least you have the plan, right? Right. I mean, I've yet to have it happen, but if it happens, you're covered. Yeah. Congratulations. Right. We did it just. But it's almost, like what you do. Just because I'm in a wheelchair. Yeah. And I need modifications done. If I don't address it, it doesn't mean that I'm not going to need a wheelchair anymore. Right. It just means I'm going to have to find workarounds and struggle to fit through doorways. And how do I transition, to the toilet, to the shower? Yeah. Talking about it doesn't mean it's going to happen. It just means let's make things easier and streamlined. Yeah. And I think some people think, well, I'm going to be dead, so they'll figure it out anyway.
which is completely irresponsible because your family doesn't need that extra stress,
Correct.
right? And most families probably wouldn't want to go through that stress for whatever the monetary payoff is.
Correct. If we can avoid it, and I hear that argument or hurdle often, you are going to be dead.
Yep.
Yes. Or you're going to be incapacitated. You're not going to necessarily know what's going on.
Yep.
Is that the legacy that they want to leave for their family? You know, dad passes away. Dad was a great guy, but God, I really wish he didn't leave us in this bind.
Yeah. The house is in probate for a year and it becomes dilapidated.
How do you want them to remember you?
Yeah.
For the good you've done and how easy you made things? Or why didn't he take a couple hours and get this done?
And just get it taken care of. Absolutely. So make sure you guys get over here to get it taken care of before it's too late. This has been our second segment of 7 Minutes for Seniors. I appreciate you.
Absolutely.
We will be back again tomorrow wearing the same clothes and drinking out of the same mugs. And we'll be back for our third segment. All right. Y'all have a great day. Take care.